So, good afternoon. We're back again. Podcast a day later than usual. And Afsal's decided he can't be bothered today. He's gone and played around the golf. Chig will be joining us. And Dan is at a family event, I believe. So he can't join us either. He was at a protest yesterday. I see him now. I see a lot of regular faces we see over the internet there. And it's been sparked by the ESL. We're going to talk about all of this on this podcast. Man United, as we speak, are currently having their protest, and there's big numbers at that one as well. It's a lot more people than I thought would go, because obviously a lot of people that support Manchester United don't live in Manchester. And yeah, so it's a long train journey, Jez. But what are you saying, mate? Are you good, yeah?
Yeah, I'm fine, mate. Yeah. I've got a new chant for the fans at the Emirates. Okay? It's called slow, back pass slow, slow, back pass slow. There you go. That's Arsenal. That is Arsenal. That's what I've ever seen nowadays.
Mate, we'll come to the game in a second. Yeah, we'll start off with the game last night, and then we'll go on to Super League and protests and that. Yeah, but Kenny, back again, mate. You're right. You had a good night, and a lovely Saturday afternoon in the sun.
The weather's fantastic, and I want to say that, in terms of the protests, the numbers actually surprised me because I didn't expect that so many people would go. But I think what's happened, it was a good time to have a protest because, it was a very domino effect because I thought, I think it was a good chance and great timing from everyone involved in terms of getting the numbers out. And obviously, they showed that, that their feelings towards our owner is really strong. So you've got to respect them for, getting there and actually making their voices heard. Whether they're listened to is a different matter.
100%. Let's start off with Jez with the game last night. Obviously, we lost again. We're getting used to losing. We're kind of becoming immune to it now, aren't we? Because it don't really hurt anymore, does it? It's just, oh well, we expect to lose. When we had the penalty decision pulled back for an offside, I said to the father-in-law, I said, they'll beat us 1-0 now. I said, nailed on, we will lose this game. How many times have we seen a performance like that? Slow, boring, sideways, nothing going on, no threat going forward, and then they do us. It's been pathetic, isn't it?
Well, as you quite rightly said, Leo, we're just used to it now. I mean, there was just no direction last night. Starting Eddie again. What did he bring to the party? I didn't see anything personally. And, next month I'm 60, and 1961, the year I was born, was the last time we lost 9 at home.
Oh.
So, it that sums it all up to me. The fact that it's just so poor. It's just so poor. I'm just so fed up with it now. Xhaka, I think he got over the halfway line once last night. he didn't overlap. So how the hell can he help Pepe? Yeah, it's just, I get so last night on the fan cam, mate. I was just getting so uptight and angry about it, and I've thought about it today, and I just don't see where Arteta is taking this team. He is sucking the lifeblood out of Arsenal.
Yeah,
him along with the Kroenkes. This club is just going that way. It's meltdown. I'm fed up with it, and I, for one, with this lockdown, I was actually looking forward to going. I haven't been to the Emirates for a couple of years, to be fair. I was actually looking forward to going back when we can. I haven't been there. And I'll tell you what now, I ain't going to bother. Not all the time this shit's going on. I'm not going to bother. It's a waste of my time to travel 60 miles from where I live now, up there, to watch this rubbish. And that's how I feel. And I'm passionate Arsenal. When I could actually, years ago, walk across the road, up round the corner to the North Bank, there. I'm not going to spend a couple of £100 for a day out to watch this crap.
Yeah, every other week or maybe twice a week some weeks, isn't it? So, yeah, it's mad. I want to bring this stat up before I come to Kenny. Kenny, this is unbelievable. right? Well, it's probably not unbelievable, actually, the way this season's gone. I see an account earlier tweet this out. Home games this season, right? Lost 1-0 to Leicester, lost 3-0 to Villa, lost 2-1 to Wolves, lost 1-0 to Burnley, 1-0 to City, 1-0 to Olympiacos, 3-0 to Liverpool, 0-0 with United, 0-0 with Palace, 1-1 with Southampton, 1-1 with Slavia Prague, 1-1 with Fulham, lost 1-0 last night. 13 home games out of the, I think, 17 or 19 or whatever it is we've had at home in all competitions. 0 wins, 9 losses, 4 goals. We have scored 4 goals in the games that we have lost or drawn at the Emirates this season. 13 games, scored 4 goals. What has gone wrong with our home form? No, do you put it down to the fact there's no fans there? Because I personally don't. Because I think that if the fans are there, then that would make our away form worse. Because our away form was shocking before the fans stopped going. So what do you put it down to?
Well, the thing about it is that when you're at home, especially when you're a big club, you have to be on the front foot. But the way we attack is that we start off for the first 10 minutes. You think, right, we're really on it. We play actually quite well. We're aggressive with our passing. Our movement is very proactive. Then what happens? It kind of lulls off. And I think the way we play is that I always say it, and I'm never going to tire of saying it. It's like I call it the Lee Sharp effect. Like Lee Sharp 30 years ago when he was at Man United before Giggs, became the big star, and before just the season before they bought Kanchelskis. Lee Sharp scored a hat-trick at Arsenal, and what Man United did that season, especially when they went on to win the European Cup and this Cup, is that they basically used Lee Sharp as an outlet to stretch teams. We do that with Saka now. So basically, when we, especially at home, when we struggle, the onus is on Saka to stretch teams and open teams up, and that creates movement with the front three. If Saka doesn't play well, we can't hurt teams. And I think one of the reasons why is teams can work us out because they know our weaknesses. They know that we're very weak on the right hand side. So what especially the away teams, what they do is that if they know if they can just overlap and get overloads and isolate Bellerin and Holding, they're through and they can get into our box. They don't even have to put crosses. They run in the box and tee it up and people have shots. And I think that's where we were strong at home. If you look at yesterday, it's Everton. Everton just basically said, pack the midfield and said, right, you're not getting through us. Go come round, see if you can come round our back four. Chambers tried it, but in terms of, as Jess mentioned, Xhaka, it was disaster. It was disaster both from a attacking sense. Defensively, it wasn't bad until we considered goal. But if you play Arteta football, where basically you're trying to be too compact and you're basically neglecting your attack, especially at home, then what will happen is that just how do I say it? The games where there's 5 margins, the team that is how do I say it, negative and compact tends to lose those games because all the opposition need is 1 goal. I remember the 92-93 season under George Graham where we were very compact in terms we didn't have much width. We relied heavily on Ian Wright. And there were certain games where even though we won 2 cups, we only scored 38 league goals. But teams used to beat us by the odd goal because of our negativity and our one-track way of playing. And that's what's happened with Arteta.
I think we equalled the losses at home, I think, or we're 1 away from equaling the losses of that George Graham season, 92-93. And Alan Smith said, yeah, he goes, I'd rather not remember that. And he went, actually, we did win 2 cups that season, which kind of got George Graham out of jail that season, really, if you think about it, because to score that little amount of goals, lose so many games. And it is very similar to this season. What I thought was a masterstroke from Ancelotti last night was playing Richarlison on the right-hand side, because all season he's played him left. But he knew Granit Xhaka's a liability, so he'll put him on Granit Xhaka. He ain't going to bully Callum Chambers, is he, Richarlison? Because Callum's a more physical player. Yeah, and he's quite quick as well, Callum Chambers, whereas Granit Xhaka's got nothing, like no pace, no power. And you just knew as soon as Richarlison got that ball and Xhaka he got spun, you just knew that was going to be a problem. Yeah, and as soon as he started going to ground, Richarlison must have been licking his chops. How that went in the back of the net, no, Jez. Yeah, seriously, man. What is this keeper, mate? Like, we sold our best keeper.
Did.
And
Yeah.
That in itself should show the incompetence of this football club.
Yeah, I mean, when I saw that, as soon as he hit that ball, I thought that's going to go in. Because as he went down, he's got his hands like that. Now, I was never a great footballer. I'll be honest with you, right? I love watching football, but I was crap. And I remember being coached as a kid that any goalkeeper that goes down like that on one knee has his other leg behind him, so it cannot get through his legs. He's gone down flat,
like a cricketer does when they go and get the ball. Yeah.
And so he goes down straight through his hands, sausage fingers, and off his right foot, right leg in the net. I mean, that is worse than schoolboy error. Shocking, absolutely shocking. And let's be fair, he has made some howlers this season. We debated this on, I think, the last podcast, is the fact that when both those keepers went to Arteta and said we would be number one, I'd just said, all right, prove it. You know, don't sell the bloke. Why let him go? If Martinez wants to be number one, and let's be fair, he was playing very, very well when Leno was injured. Yeah, I'd have said to him, prove it to me. I'm not going to sell you. I'm not going to let you go. Prove it. Yeah. Then you got contention for a place going on between the two top keepers in the club, and I don't know, mate. It just sums the whole dross of Arsenal at the moment, to be fair.
100%. Do you know what? I see a lot of people saying that, oh, it's just, you know, Leno's been really good since he's been here and this and that. So I don't care what he's done in terms of glamour saves. Kenny, you always say it all the time, mate, that he's just a camera merchant. Like, tries to do the spectacular. When you actually break down some of the goals we've conceded this season, Kenny, yeah? Like the one the other week where he went to punch it and he punched it in the top of the goal. It's like, what are you doing? When I see the stats, and I'm not a big stats person, really. I think stats can be skewed each way you want them to. But for goalkeepers, I do think that stats probably hold a little bit more weight. I see a stat the other week. It was maybe 2 weeks ago, so I don't know if it's still the same case now, that Leno has only punched one cross this season. Not Leno, sorry. Martinez has only punched one cross this season. He's caught everything else. Yeah, whereas our goalkeeper is coming out Supermaning and missing against Chelsea last season. Yeah, punching the ball in the net, trying to do the fancy stuff, and then like, what was he doing, man? Like, seriously.
Well, the thing that got me is that I you know that sort of thing. Like the game's a bit of a lull. It's a 0-0, and then when Richarlison went past, I thought, right, he's effed it up, and I thought, right, great defending. We've managed to sort of close off the angle. We've managed to close off the space for the pass to Calvert-Lewin, and then all of a sudden, for a split second, I thought he caught it. The next minute, I just hear the commentator going, "Oh no, what's he going? Oh no for?" And then when I saw the ball back in that, I went, "No, this can't be happening. This can't be happening." I actually went on my Instagram and went, No, this can't be happening. And I was thinking, I don't understand how. I still don't get it, because I thought, right, did Mari get a deflection? Did he get deflection? Yeah. And I thought, all right, so Mari did get deflection. I said, the first thing I was thinking, all right, was Mari, was he unsighted by Mari? I went, well, he wasn't. He saw the ball clearly. I still don't understand what was distracting him. I don't, because I was looking at the situation, I was thinking, well, this is in a tight game when virtually you haven't got much to do, and the busier goalkeeper was Pickford. That's when you need your goalkeeper at the most, because one instance where they switch off, we can lose the game. And I was just thinking, I couldn't even get angry with him, because I was thinking, it was one of those things I said, it's as Jess says, I'm just so used to it now. I'm so used to it. Even when they had the VAR afterwards, you know, in terms of like whether he's offside or not. VARs, what's happened this season? I've actually become an expert on offside now, because the way VAR
well, I'm glad you have, because I still ain't got a clue, mate.
The reason why I've become an expert is because how, you know, the Premiership have actually drawn the lines. And I just knew that when we had the penalty and Richarlison was in that position with Xhaka, I just knew that both decisions were going to be correct because I'm used to it now because they've explained it so much. But even so, it's inexplicable how Leno could just let it through his hands. It's just I can't even comment on it because even if he's on his wrong side, he should still catch it. You know, because simple reason it wasn't going at great pace. You know what I mean? It wasn't even a grass cut because normally when it's a grass cut, it bobs up and it goes over your hands. He went straight through him, and the thing is, he went straight through his leg and he's come off the back leg. And I was thinking, no. And I think, you know what? It just sums this keeper up that I'm not saying Martinez would have been a long-term number one, but it's one of those things where your manager takes a massive, massive risk where he basically tells our number one keeper, not only you the number one, there's no competition for your place. Yeah. Because the goalkeeper's got no competition for his place, he produces kamikaze moments. I mean, you described the goal against Prague. I could talk about the goal against Liverpool where the cross comes in and he's on his toes. He's anticipating that Jota is going to head the ball down, so he's gone down like that, as if he's a wicket keeper at Lord's, rather than stand his ground and then anticipate the type of the ball. Because what's happened is that if he stands tall, he catches it or puts it over with one hand, and I think that's the problem we've got with his keeper is that he is not a number one. I'm not saying Martinez is number one as well, but that's why my arguments has always been: you actually want to win important trophies and be a force in the league, then you have to have a number one goalkeeper. And this guy's not a number one, and he just proved it yesterday. 100%. And the thing about it is that you haven't seen the end of this because he's under pressure now. So they're going to play him every game.
It was a bit of a weird decision to start him anyway because Matt Ryan played in the last game, albeit we equalised in stoppage time, but he didn't have nothing to do. I know the quality of opposition was different. The other game that he played, I can't remember who he played. I think it was Villa. That was it. Again, we lost that game 1-0. Watkins, wasn't it? Ollie Watkins.
Yeah.
But other than that, he didn't have a great deal to do in that game either. So we've not really seen how good Matt Ryan is. I know he made some good saves in the Villa game, but they were from Grealish from like 20 yards out. It weren't like they were point blank ones. Do you know what I'm saying? They're comfortable saves I'd expect a keeper to make. But I was surprised to see Leno start. I was surprised to see
I wasn't. I think what Mikel's done is that Mikel's got himself in a situation. A lot of people, all I hear from a lot of fans is that, we've got a keeper who can challenge Leno for his place, so play the other keeper. And all I hear from our fans, give Xhaka a rest. Arteta's got himself in a position where he can't do without those. He thinks mentally he can't do without Xhaka in any game, which means Xhaka has to play every game because attacking wise, he wins. If he plays well, we win. The same thing we've got now with Leno. There is no competition for him. He signed Rollison, a disaster. He signed Ryan, and he thinks, well, yeah, maybe so. But Ryan, what's happened? He's created a situation because there's a massive gap between our goalkeepers. It's down on the manager as well. It's him. And that's why Leno will play every game, regardless of performance, because the manager's made him, by default a certainty.
And that's the problem with this manager is that Eddie Nketiah made his first start in this calendar year yesterday. In what planet does he start over Martinelli? The same Martinelli that all the journalists that get into Colney or on the Zoom calls were pushing the propaganda that, he's not been played because he's being turned into a striker. Yeah? Well, that was the ideal opportunity to show how good a striker he is then, right? Instead, every game he's played since them journos dropped them articles, every minute he has played, he's been left wing. Yeah? So that was a load of cock and ball. Right? Then I see today, I think it was Karen Carney, I think, sat on BT Sport earlier. Yeah, and I was just watching all the scores and stuff come in. And she was talking about the game. And she said, Martinelli came on. He didn't really do anything. I thought, well, what do you want him to do with 15 minutes?
Exactly.
We actually did that. He did something. He actually stretched Everton, and then he created an equaliser.
And he had a shot. The goalkeeper Pickford had to make a really good, quick, instinctive save. So he flicked it with the outside of his boot, didn't he? Yeah, and it was like, do we watch different games to these people? Because I swear, I have seen, and I'm sure you two have as well, that Granit Xhaka is not good enough. Doesn't matter what position he plays in. We've all seen Bellerin's not good enough. Even the manager, it appears, is starting to see that. Yeah. But at the same time, when Xhaka's not in midfield, Dani Ceballos looks a different player. He looks miles better without Xhaka in midfield. Yeah, and he starts going forward. He's dropping his shoulder. He looks like he's confident. Whereas when he plays with Xhaka, I'm not saying I'd keep him because I still don't think he's good enough. But I think when he plays with Xhaka, he's more rigid and scared and, oh, he'll fuck up, so I might have to stay back type of thing. Do you know what I mean? And he don't really go over halfway, Dani Ceballos, when Xhaka's in the team. But me and you were speaking yesterday, Kenny, in the first half about Xhaka not overlapping and about Saka not tracking back. Yeah. Saka does need a rest, 100%. Yeah,
he can't rest him, Nick. He can't rest him.
That's the problem. He's fucked himself up.
Saka's our attack. He's our attack. He's a fulcrus. When Smith Rowe gets the ball, the person he's looking for to make the runs is invariably Saka, because Saka is direct and he actually commits defenders, tackles, wins fouls, and he can get on the outside. He's proved he can cross with both feet. So yes, he has to play.
Chig in the building, baby.
No, he left me in the lobby for about 10 minutes.
Do you know what? I didn't even clock it. I didn't even see, bruv. Like, real talk, I didn't see it. How you doing? Chig. Steph's loving you, Chig.
What's up? What's up, people?
How you feeling, man? You're out of hospital now, obviously.
Out of hospital.
Good
on
stuff.
Camera. Yeah. I'm getting there, man. I'm getting there. I'm probably about, if it was a percentage thing, I'm probably about 49%. So I'm getting there. Like a charger on the phone.
Yeah. Another week or so then, yeah?
Yeah. Give me another week or so.
We were just talking about the game. Let me get your thoughts on it, seeing as you're here now. It's fashionably late on that Nigerian time, yeah?
I still got to be late, though. For me, I thought the game was almost a little bit inconsequential. There's me trying to say a flash word. After the protest, kind of was just like a bit. I was so happy that the protest went well that actually the game, I was just a bit like, whatever happens. How bad is that? Which is a shame, because not that I'm expecting anything to change overnight, but I just like the fact that actually, for once, we arranged to do something and made some kind of positive impact. In terms of the game itself, funnily enough, right, I was trying to do a player ratings. It didn't quite come off yesterday. So apologies to people. But I did see like loads of people saying, oh, can we stop hyping Martinelli now? Because he didn't do much when the game. In my mind, I was like, what did you want the geezer to do in 12 minutes? Right before he came on, they gave a stat. This is why I like watching games now, because I can actually hear the commentary.
Yeah, we can actually hear the commentary now.
They gave a stat that said that basically, I think the last 6 of his last 7 goals came from him starting games. So this is not a player that necessarily
never scored a goal as a substitute for Arsenal.
Yeah, he doesn't come on to make an impact. He's a starter. So if you're not starting him in games, what do you want the kid to do with 12 minutes to go? So yeah, look at people say Chigga there's a Mane haircut. Mate, that's all hair, don't try it. That's all hair, bro. Don't try it. So yeah. I think to be honest with you, I thought, yes, I mean, I keep hearing people saying Arsenal played well against Everton yesterday. No, we didn't. We just didn't fuck up for a majority of the game until we spectacularly fucked up. That's all that happened. Everton were comfortable. Arsenal, I think, could have played like that all day. They would have both been happy with a 0-0. Yeah. And then Granit Xhaka happened. It's as simple as that.
And then Leno.
Leno happened.
2 of the clowns of the team. Like we didn't know.
They would have both been real happy with a 0-0, I'll tell you. No problem whatsoever.
Did you hear Mikel Arteta before the game say that it's not ideal? No, that was it. No, Jeff Shrew said to him, Does it have a negative impact on the team playing tonight with so many people protesting outside the ground? Like blah blah blah. He said, "Yeah, it's like I can't remember the exact quote, but it was along the lines of, yeah, it's negative. It don't really help on match day." Well, like the fucking audacity of the geezer. Do you know what I'm saying?
It's for me. I think he you can see he's desperate because there was part of the way through his post-match interview where he was talking about, you know, making a real big deal out of the disallowed penalty. I mean, don't get me wrong, we all know VAR is some bullshit. And actually, in that circumstance, it was some bullshit. Like, I still don't understand how they tried to make their line to prove that Arsenal didn't.
I don't. Yeah, that was never offside.
It's a madness, but you can see the man is under pressure because, you know, all his eggs are in this Europa League basket. I'd like to think all four of us are on the same page where we say that even if he won the Europa, I would still sack him.
Still sack him.
He's turned into a cup. He's turned into a cup manager. I want a manager who looks like they're going to build a team, not a guy that's going to occasionally fluke a competition. And if he doesn't take them through, and Emre does feel like the type of manager that would foil him, if he doesn't take him through, what laurels does he have to rest on? He doesn't have anything. It doesn't even look like we're going to finish top half. How much more anywhere else? So I think people are coming around to this idea. I still see people. He does have allies in the media. So people like the Charlie Watts, who apparently he seems to think it's impossible that Arsenal will remove him in the summer.
Even Fabrizio Romano said that. He said that they're not looking to get rid of him. And out of all of these journalists, the most reliable is that guy. Yeah, because he checks his information thoroughly, and he has. When he came on here, he said that he's got contacts with pretty much every top club in the world. Like he'll phone them, and he can go out for dinners and stuff. They're mates of his and stuff like that. So when he says that they're not looking to sack him, then you probably have to take that as gospel when it comes from him. Yeah, because he very rarely fucks up, does he? Which is worrying, really, when you think about it. But let me come back to Jez. Let's rewind it, yeah, because obviously we spoke about the game. Let's talk about the Super League, which will then lead us on to the protest that we'll speak about in a bit. Well, what did you make of it all? Like, was you for it? Was you against it? Did you like the way it was done? Do you think it had come back, etc., etc.?
I didn't like the way it was done. I wasn't for it. I think it's just, again, pure greed. The fact that Kroenkes and the Glaziers on Henry, they all jumped on it straight away. And I'm hoping it doesn't come back, but I'm convinced at some point it will, in some different form. I do hope the protest by the Arsenal fans that turned up opens up the eyes of the Kroenkes, but I don't think so much Stan, because I don't really think. I think you are right in what you're saying. It's Josh's thing to run. Yeah, I don't think Stan really is that interested. And does he even know there was a protest? Probably not. Did he know Arsenal were playing last night? Probably not. And does he know any of the results? Probably not. So I think the whole thing was despicable in the way it was done. I'm really glad that all the fan base in England got on this and kicked it into touch for now. I still honestly believe it will reappear its ugly head in some other form. Yeah, I would love to hope that the fans stick solid and put behind the backing. And can I just say, I watched DVS's fan cam with Tom last night, and that bloke's put the hammer on the nail's head, bang on. In America, their sports don't have localities where, like, for example, at Highbury, you used to have a community, like at Spurs, community, like at Fulham, community, Chelsea, all these, Newcastle especially. It's it's almost born into you. If you like football, you support the club that is
close to you. Yeah.
And big up to DVS for that, because I'd never thought about it like that. And it proved last night the strong feeling of what the Arsenal fans felt. And let's get it right, not all those Arsenal fans live within 2 miles of the Emirates.
No, of course.
People there.
Fans were coming from all over the country yesterday. Yeah. It was mad.
Exactly. And the love and support from fans all around the world as well, sending their support, saying we wish we could be there. And I'm glad for now it's gone. And can I just make a comment that many years ago I met David Seaman, and I said to him, what did it take, David, to make a great goalkeeper? He said, goalkeeping's easy, he said. You just catch the ball.
Yeah. When you think about it, it is actually that simple.
Yeah, it's that simple. Catch the ball. You're good to go.
Oh, mate. Kenny, what did you make of it? I know we've spoken in the chats and stuff like that, but what have you made of the whole fallout? Because we've seen a lot of hypocrites come out this week on Sky and on BT, on TalkSport. And can I just say as well, to the people that didn't see my stream yesterday, if you haven't seen the comments to Ray Parler and Robbie were having, go and check it out. I personally thought it was disgusting at TalkSport, but Robbie does keep setting himself up by going on there, and he's got to stop going on there, because that was disgusting how Parler stuck it on him. But there we go. That's just my thoughts. What do you make of it all, Kenny? The ESL.
Well, the last point you made, I wasn't aware of the situation with TalkSport and AFTV. I think there have been differences of opinion for a while, but in terms of the ESL, first and foremost, why was anyone surprised? Remember with Project Big Picture in October?
Yeah,
the Liverpool and Man United were the forerunners of trying to reorganise English football. And a week later, we heard about the Super League, and we knew that JP Morgan were going to finance it. So why is anyone shocked? Second thing as well is that for the last 33 years, we've been trying to do that. If anyone, Jez will probably remember this, in 1988, the big clubs, big 5 clubs, were talking about a breakaway league. And in 88. And I remember Sue Mott, a journalist, who was a football journalist at the time, all the way back in 98. She talked to Jeffrey Archer, and Jeffrey Archer was saying, well, why would you want something like that? I think it'd be boring watching Liverpool play Man United every 3 weeks. No, that was in 1988.
Yeah.
Then we had the Premiership, and now fast forward, we had the same thing. Now, when you talk about the fallout, I thought that it was a situation where influential people didn't want a new influential group to take their control of English football and European football, and they used working class fans to fight their battles. So basically, what they've done is that the institutions like UEFA, the Premiership, and Sky Sports have basically targeted a global audience in terms of their kickoff times, and in terms of they're trying to sell the product around the world to Asia, South Africa, USA, and China. So basically, they've always ignored the local fan in terms of kickoff times, prices, and the pay-per-view thing.
Sorry to cut you there. Sorry to cut you. You make a great point about changing kickoff times, right? Because the amount of times Arsenal's games away from home have been changed to Old Trafford at 7:45 at night, just like that, when it was originally, I don't know, a fucking Sunday game or something like. And then obviously they changed it because we've qualified for the next round of a cup or something. They've switched it, and they've changed it. So then everyone could have got there on a Sunday. Yeah, they've got their travel booked. They may have a hotel booked, but then all of a sudden they now can't, and they now can't cancel their hotel with that short notice. Yeah, unless they've done it on booking.com or something like that. Yeah, they might not be able to get a refund on their train tickets. Yeah, and they don't give a shit when they do that. And they change so many games just like that with 2 days' notice. It's a joke.
Yeah, but that's the thing about it. That's that point. And then you got prices. And the way Sky have done it is very, very skillful. They didn't get Jamie Redknapp, son of an East End football manager, grew up around the South Coast. They didn't get Roy Keane from Cork in Ireland. They didn't get Kevin Campbell. They didn't get anyone else, but they got two working class men from Liverpool, Bootle, Sefton and Merseyside, and they got Gary Neville from Bury in Greater Manchester, still working class fans, to actually appeal and use their soapbox to get local fans who they shat on for 30 years to fight their own battles. All of a sudden, Lee from Milton Keynes. We need Lee from Milton Keynes. We need Chig from like Wood Green. We need Jez from Highbury. We need Ken from Finsbury Park. We need all these local fans that you shat on to fight your own battles. So basically, it was a case of we're the establishment. We're the devil you know. It's better with us than the devil you don't know. And that was it all about. And it was manipulation and making fans they won something. But that's why I've got grievances of it, because they know about this Super League and they know why it's happened. They think they've won, but let me tell you something now. You may not have a Super League now, but it's going to come back. The big six clubs are still going to want the greatest share of the revenues. They're still going to resent the fact that Norwich City are going to make more than Bayern Munich, who won the Champions League. They're not going to have it. It's not going to go away. And by trying to manipulate fans to say they won is wrong. But in terms of like the Kroenke out protest, great things for the Kroenke is great, because what's happened, right, is that it's actually created a domino effect. It's actually given Arsenal fans an actual cause and actually good timing to actually think, hang on here, we can get our own protest in. Forget about ESL. We're going to make it about Kroenke out. So it was very good timing for the Arsenal fan base to mobilise the tactics. One thing you mentioned to me in a watch along yesterday that your missus came out with, and I was thinking about it because I mentioned my brother and a good friends of him, wife. This is a good time for the Kroenkes to actually throw someone out in front of the fire. I Mikel Arteta say, hang on here. Oh yeah, we're losing games. The fans are unhappy. Oh yeah, let's just get rid of him. Let's get a new manager in, probably a bigger name, and give them money, and then boom, we take the heat off us. It's a good, like I said, it's always a good time to bury bad news.
Last night, and I thought, do you know what? That makes perfectly good sense. They're under the cosh at the minute. Yeah, Josh Kroenke's flapping like a motherfucker, stands in hiding. Yeah, and sack Arteta.
One more thing as well. You're probably a cut to this well. Sorry, Lee. Sorry, cut you.
They're sweet.
One more thing as well. Have a look at the new format of the European UEFA Champions League.
Yeah.
Have a good look at it and tell me how different that is to the Super League.
Yep. It's not much difference. And this is the thing. It would not surprise me one bit if FIFA and UEFA were involved in this anyway. And they were all playing each other. Like playing a game to kick off and cause a drama. So then that can get snuck in anyway. And they're going to get big revenues out of it. If Man United finished 6th and West Ham finished 5th, Man United would get into the Champions League if they were the highest or one of the highest coefficients in Europe, which they are. Yeah. So if Man U finished 5th in that 2024 season and West Ham finished 5th, West Ham go in Europa, Man United go Champions League. How the fuck is that any difference? It makes no sense. But let me come to Chig. What do you make of it all, man? This Super League, because we ain't really spoke much this week. I know you've been in and out of hospital and stuff like that, but what have you made of the whole fallout of it, man? You're on mute.
Yeah, I just realised. For me, I don't know why people have been so surprised. I think this is something we've not known about, not only since October, but if we're being genuinely honest, they've been talking about this on and off for years now, wanting to kind of make a breakaway kind of division or league or competition that is separate from because it's all about control, isn't it? That's what all this is about. It's all about money and control. And they want to build something that is separate from UEFA or FIFA's clutches, or perhaps more importantly, to be shown that those guys are not the big boys. That actually the big boys are the owners, because they're the ones who bring in the money into the game. They're the ones that feel like they should have the most money out of the back of it. But ultimately, that's what all this is about. I actually agree with Kenny Ken. I think the format of the competition would be boring anyway. You're telling me what? There's only going to be 15 teams, of which Arsenal will probably be the weakest one, and they're just going to play each other all season for the whole season. I'm not up for that. That sounds like it's going to be dull. I feel like there's a way that they will bring it back to make it more palatable for everybody. How they're going to do that, I think they may have to leave it for a little while before trying to repackage that, because there isn't so much now suspicion and there's so much wariness that I think people are naturally going to be very resistant to any idea that is presented. This is my own personal opinion. This isn't the opinion of the show, by the way. This is my own personal opinion. I do think people like, for example, Robbie are going a bit over the top when he says things like, "Oh well, I'd rather, even if we got Mbappe on an X." It's like, all right, calm down.
No, check. Mbappe and Haaland ain't coming, by the way. And Haaland scored through tonight.
Let's calm.
Was brilliant, by the way. On the whole,
let's calm. Do you know what I mean? Let's calm down. They've stabbed our kids, all right? Like, relax. Like, calm down. But I think, I mean, listen, the way I see it is this. I do think that they clearly tried to push through something. And I'm more interested in why now. Why all of a sudden did this suddenly come out? What happened for this suddenly to come out? Because I think that in itself might tell more of an interesting story. Did they just suddenly fall out? Like, what idea did FIFA have that clearly rubbed owners the wrong way, and their story suddenly came out? Those are the sort of things that I would be quite interested in. In terms of the protests and stuff, like I said earlier, I think it was good for them to be able to have a stand and for them to be listened to. So if the owners needed feedback, there it was. But usually, owners of people of that caliber of success don't take L's easily. So expect them to come back with another package that might be a little bit different, that might sound a little bit different, that use a little bit softer words, but will be repackaged to us in a couple of years' time. And I also think Steph is bang on point when she says that this, in my mind, is an opportunistic time for the Kroenkes.
Yeah.
You're probably not going to bounce. Cool. So what is the next best thing you can do? The next best thing you can do is to say to yourself, right, I need to spend a shitload of money.
Or did you hear the fans forum that that Josh Kroenke did the other day? Did you hear it?
I must have confessed. No, I didn't. No.
He was just waffling, right? But there was a few people in there. I'm not going to name their names that me and Kenny have met or seen a few times. Yeah, and I didn't think they had a backbone, Kenny. Turns out they do, because they actually stuck it on him, like properly stuck it on him.
I heard it was uncomfortable.
Yeah, some of the questions that one particular guy was throwing at him, he said, "Look, I'm going to go in a minute, but I've got 2 more questions." And he'd done about 10 minutes of just throwing questions at him. Yeah, he actually surprised me, because some of the questions he got asked was, obviously I see myself as a customer because that's what you've made us think. Like, we think we're customers now. Yeah, why should we be customers of this great club? What are you going to do for us going forward? Yeah, one question nobody asked was, why did he buy the club? Yeah, that would have been the first thing I would have asked him. Why did you buy this football club? Yeah. And then when it comes with the waffle, I would have said, okay, so if you bought the football club, because he got asked about the self-sufficient thing, because everyone bangs on about that he hasn't took any money out of his own pocket. Yeah. Find me a football club in the last 3 years that's took money out of their own owner's pocket to go and buy footballers. You won't find one. Yeah, people will say Man City, people will say Chelsea, absolute rubbish. Yeah, there's not a single football club in the world, as far as I'm aware. Yeah, I may be wrong, but I'm still waiting for someone to tell me, that has taken money out of their own owner's pocket, not club money, and said, we're buying that footballer. Yeah, people who say Thomas Partey in the summer, yeah, well, if that's the case, that defeats your argument straight away. which we all know was bollocks anyway, because it came out of the club money, but it was dressed up by all the puppet journalists and the trust the process merchants. But like, I was shocked that some people stuck it on him. But do you think, like, because he sounded like he didn't give a shit, yeah? Real talk, it was just like, you could see he was uncomfortable. You could see he didn't want to be there, but he had to show face and he had to say something, yeah? So he's a very clever guy. Of course, listen, you don't have that much money if you're fucking dumb most of the time, innit? Yeah, but do you think we can get him out, Chig? Or do you just think that they are going to be very smart, like you just said a minute ago? Do you think there is an opportunity to get him out?
I think here's what I honestly think. If they're not ready to sell, I don't think this week would have made that much of a difference. However, if they were even contemplating selling, you remember when there was a time, what was it, the year was Wenger's last year, and we were hitting them hard in their pockets because we weren't going to their stadiums, and we had to force their hand in the end to sack Wenger, right? And I heard a story where Stan had no interest in selling, but Josh was really pushing him to sell, like really wanted him to just sell up and just, he doesn't need this, let's just go.
Yeah.
I think if there's ever a chance that we're reconsidering that position, it was now. For two reasons. A, you look at the situation, you think to yourself, you must be the coldest human being in the world to turn on the news. Let's just assume he's heard his name in America somewhere in that ranch, right? And you turn on the news and you see yesterday's protest, and you think, fuck, all that is because they hate me that badly and feel nothing towards
bro,
it.
this is the same guy that moved the fucking NFL team or whatever the fuck it was, 600 miles. You don't give a shit.
I don't doubt that.
Would you care if you had £10 billion worth of assets? Would you give a fuck what 6,000 people outside a football stadium are saying?
But here's the thing: he cares more about that NFL stadium than he does about Arsenal. You said it yourself.
Yeah, 100%.
Arsenal's an asset for him.
Yeah.
So the way he will see it is, do I need this £2 billion asset, albeit that some of the time is making me money, some of the time isn't. And at some point, it's not going to make him money. At some point, you know, we're seeing how much we're falling down lists when it comes to being part of the richest list of X, part of the richest list of Y. At the moment, we're struggling to make top half of the table. This is prize money. This is all stuff that contributes towards the value of a club, and we're struggling in all of those areas. And then you've got a manager who, you know, I was arguing this for Ola yesterday when we were doing our show, right? He goes that he believes that there is no way that Arsenal will replace Mikel Arteta with someone with more experience. He goes, because you have to be able to pay that manager, and it's clear that Arsenal never wanted to go that direction in the first place, which is why we've ended up with Mikel Arteta. That's why they wanted to pick Mikel Arteta in the first place. I must admit, it was a point that I thought was actually a very good one, because in no other circumstance would you say to yourself, you have a club like the size of Arsenal, and you think Mikel Arteta is the way to go over everybody else. Everybody else. Do you know what? As much as I'm with Kenny Kane with the whole nostalgia of former players, even you're telling me over Vieira, that guy was the guy that you picked over everybody else. Why? Because I'm hearing that Vieira demanded more, and apparently he had a break clause in his contract that said that he'd had to be paid.
Even Steve Bold
had to be paid X.
Even Steve Bold was on the same level playing field as fucking Arteta, yeah, because he sat next to fucking Wenger for how many years? Do you know what I mean?
That's how penny pinching we are. This is how much we watch the numbers. So I must admit, for all my noise about how much I want Rafa, I still don't know if they would even bother.
Yeah,
I don't know if they would bother to get Rafa.
It's mad. It is like this club. Like, I'd love to be able to sit down in front of this owner's son. Like, I think he's the owner anyway. I'd love to sit down in front of him. Yeah, whether it be face to face or on a fucking Zoom call or something. I'd love to ask him some proper questions, man. But let me come to Jez. Let's go.
By the way, all this just shows. Just very quickly, all of this just shows how much Wenger protected that board. He protected every single one of them motherfuckers.
100%.
And we're really seeing that playing out now in front of our face.
There he goes. 1,800 miles. Apparently, he moved them, not 600 miles. Bro, that's like moving from here to Spain.
Madness. Madness. Just to think. Back in the day, there was uproar that Wimbledon was being moved to MK to MK.
Yeah.
And what is that?
That's what
150 miles.
No, about 70 to 90 miles, maybe from southwest London to Milton Keynes. Maybe 90 mile.
Mad.
Fucking nearly 10 times further. Jez, let me come to you on the protest. Obviously, you grew up and lived until recently in North London, literally right opposite Highbury. Born and bred, grown up on Arsenal, seen the glory, seen the shit, seen a bit of everything, really. Probably why you got no air, mate.
Yeah, stressed me out, mate.
But like anyone who's watched these phone-ins, yeah. Henry Norris, Henry Norris, isn't it?
Yeah.
I always getting mixed up with somebody else that I know called fucking Harry Norris. Yeah. So I have to think about that properly. Henry Norris, back in the day, his great grandson comes on the phone-in shows. Yeah. I'm still not convinced he's his great grandson. Yeah. I don't know if he's blagging me, but that's a fucking good blag if he is. Right. And like we've got a history of fucking somehow getting our way out of shit. So that with Norris was getting the top division when we finished 5th or 6th in the 2nd division. Yeah, and that was through the voting system. Yeah. Then David Dean set up the Premier League. He's the founder of the Premier League. Yeah, and he had the fucking stake. He brought Kroenke into the football club and then sold his shares to Usmanov, who then sold to so-and-so. And he was on Football Focus earlier. I haven't watched it. I'd like to watch that and see what he says. But these are probably the worst set of fucking owners we have ever had. Well, they are. Let's be real. They are the worst set of owners. They don't care. At least people we've had back in the day with Peter Hillwood and all them ones, all the top boys, the Fizmans and all that, you knew they cared, didn't it? Yeah. Yesterday, I don't know how many people, I don't know if it's been confirmed by the Met Police yet, how many people, but I'd imagine it was around 6,000 maybe, 6,000 perhaps. Yeah, it was like an away day at Chelsea or something. It was fucking mad. Like, it was mad. Did you see the fella who fell off the thing as well and smashed his face up? He did. He fell up. You know where the ticket office is? Yeah. Yeah, it was on the canopy and he's gone to foot, like slide himself and then drop down. And bang. Right on his face. Yeah. And Terry Flewers was live streaming at the time with somebody who was outside the ground. They had it full screen and you watched it live. It was mad. But Jez, I wanted to ask you, right, because there's a lot of people that were there yesterday that are going to go and buy this. They are going to renew their season tickets, which is why, for me personally, protesting is not going to get them out. Yeah, I think my personal point of view is don't spend any money. If you want them out and you're adamant that you want them out, don't spend any money. The argument counter to that is, yeah, but if I don't buy a season ticket and renew mine, somebody else will buy it. My argument to that is, yeah, but you've done your bit. Where do you stand on all this? Because, listen, I didn't expect that many people to turn up. I said 1,000 at max. Yeah, big up to anyone who did go there yesterday, because the one thing it did do is show them, yo, we're a fucking big football club. Yeah, in London. Yeah, we're a big football club. People have come to fucking London to do that, yeah? So what did you make of it?
I thought it was amazing that people travelled far and wide and local people did that. And, big up to them because I thought it was amazing. The problem we've got, Lee, is a lot of people will run their mouths, Kroenke out, Arteta out. But they'll still pay a season ticket and they'll still go. Yeah. Because of the philosophy of, I don't want to lose my ticket, but I've got to have my ticket in case times change. Yeah. And talking about the sale of merchandise isn't going to hurt the Kroenkes because, as you quite rightly put, it's only about 5% goes to the club.
About that, yeah. Yeah. So anyone who gets a number and name put on the back, I think the club get all of that. But anyone who buys an Adidas T-shirt, Arsenal football top with Adidas written on it, about 5%.
And I mean, the fact of the matter remains, even if you had 20,000 turning up at the Emirates every week, rather than full capacity. The Kroenkes are only going to sell it if they want to sell it. And they, at the end of the day, are going to want to sell that at a profit. So unless somebody comes in with like 2.5, maybe 3 billion to buy the club, you know, at the end of the day, these are very, very, very rich people. And unless they're going to start losing, you know, 100, 200 million a year, yeah, they're going to sit on it. Because this brings me back to the point of the Kroenkes are still the type of people as billionaire businessmen looking to make money, and they're still going to be sitting there thinking, all right, the ESL failed this time, but it's going to come back in another form.
Yeah. So
maybe next time it's tweaked with a promotion relegation scheme or some other guys. There aren't many people in the world that are that interested in football who are going to splash, let's say 3 billion out of their businesses to buy Arsenal. I know this Spotify guy jumped in and threw his hat in the ring yesterday.
He's probably mates with Kroenke. That was probably all the setup.
But you know, let's put it right. I mean, I can remember going up Islington Town Hall with my granddad to get Terry up, you know, and there's probably about 1,500 people milling about that night. The fact is, what I thought was amazing with that protest was, you know, fair play to them. I'd love to have gone myself, but the passion that was there last night was so impressive. It's a bloody shame that the team couldn't show the same passion on the pitch.
Yeah, exactly.
There is no fight. There is no passion. There's no love. I mean, to me, this has been instilled now by Arteta. I called him the Arsenal Dracula because he's sucking life blood out of his club.
The Arsenal Dracula, that's class.
He is. He's killed to certain players.
He's taken all the pride out of this football club, isn't he? He's taken all the, you know, everything we stood for: fight, hunger, passion. Like even under Wenger in his worst days, we were still better than this crap.
Oh, mate, yeah. I mean,
and we all wanted Wenger out. Me and Kenny went on marches to get the fucker out.
Yeah, I mean, I was up there on a couple of occasions. I mean, you know, Wenger in his day, I had the utmost admiration for that man. I really did, because he turned Arsenal round. But like that young lad that comes on your show, whose great grandfather is Henry Norris.
Yeah.
The other factor part of that, what happened there, was how Arsenal got into the Division 1 from being in 6th. Was Arsenal helped fund. There was no actual plan on the underground circuit to have, when they were extending the Piccadilly line, there was no plan to have a station at Arsenal. But Arsenal offered to part fund that, and that is a factor. I remember my granddad telling me about this because he worked on the construction of that underground, and it was another way that Arsenal were a bit naughty. Now we always say that Arsenal are the class club, and I'm sorry, but I still believe in that, because Arsenal were a class club, but not anymore. Our motto, mate, victory through harmony, is, well, there's no harmony, is there? And there's no fucking victories. So there you go.
No wonder they took it off the fucking badge.
Yeah, there you go.
Maybe they were ahead of the curve. Maybe they knew this was coming. Take it off the badge. All's good, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? What did you make of it all, Kenny? Like, I know we said that. Well, I think all of us were surprised. Well, we probably shouldn't have been surprised how many people turned up. We've been on protest. We've both held a Kroenke out banner. It was about fucking 30 foot wide, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And we've been there on the Time for Change, like protests and Wenger protests and stuff like that. Like you more so than me. I think you went to pretty much all of them, if not all of them. Yeah, I went to maybe half. But do you think this will make a change, or do you think that somebody put a comment in there earlier? It's gone off the screen now, saying that a couple of sign-ins and everyone will shut up and forget it again. Do you think that's the case?
Well, the thing is that it depends. It depends if it's sustained pressure. One process isn't gonna just change make changes and get rid of the owner. But if there's continual pressure, he will notice, and then he'll do the things that Stefan mentioned in terms of like trying to save face. That's the way, because I look at it this way: I've never seen an owner leave a football club through fan pressure. The biggest myth in football at the moment is that Liverpool fans forced out Hick and Gillette. They didn't. The banks called their loan in, and Hick and Gillette went then.
Yeah.
Hick and Gillette were over. If you listen to her interviews, especially Hicks, who was doing most of the talking, he was very much for staying and trying to get money in to give Rafa Benitez more money to spend. And they actually gave Rafa Benitez more control over the football club. So they were very much there. It was only he had to leave because of the Fenways bought the club. It's because the banks called the money in. And every time I've seen owners change hands, it's for financial reasons. Now, as far as I'm concerned, the Kroenkes haven't got any way or any reason to leave, because financially there isn't a reason for them to leave, and that's the situation. So all you're doing is mainly forcing their hand and making them more proactive, making them get the right kind of players, spend money in the right areas that I've demanded, and also see if they can get a new manager in and be more proactive. That's all they're going to do. They're not going to, because I'm not sure you're funny, right? The problem with football, English football, is that you can't put a genie back in a bottle. The days of someone who owns a hosiery company in say in Salford buying Man United, it's over. It's never going to happen again. Football fans have been conditioned to basically want one thing over the other. They don't want the local millhouse owner from Salford to buy Man United. They want someone from Uzbekistan worth £5 billion or £10 billion to buy the club, and that's and every fan wants it. Even Norwich fans want it. Even Millwall fans want it. Every club wants another Roman Abramovich and Sheikh Mansour. That's how we've been conditioned, and I think that's why these owners will never go, because what's happening, right, is that the Premier League likes having these billionaires because they'll run the business property. They've got proof of being successful businessmen.
Yeah. And
basically what's happened is that they know if the more billionaires they have in football, the more money they'll come in. That way they can satisfy the players' wages demands and the demands of everyone, all their stakeholders. And you can't do it from a self-made millionaire from Salford. You could do it from someone from Uzbekistan or Russia. And I think that's the problem with it now, is that you can't ask billionaires to come and run your game and run it as a profit and then ask them to take notice of 150 years of tradition. It's not going to happen. You basically, they're not going to adjust to you. They want you to adjust to them.
Yeah. Do you know what? John Barnes made a great point. I think all of us would agree. He's probably the only person this week that's actually spoken any fucking sense. Yeah. Like, have the ticket prices come down? No. So they don't care about fans. Was it a victory for the fans? No, because you still can't fucking go. Can you get a ticket? No. Will it be a reduced ticket? No. So how's it a victory for the fans? You still got to pay Sky. You still got to pay BT. You still got to pay Amazon to watch this crap. Yeah. Then you're right what he said. He's right what he said. He said, football fans need to adapt and learn business, not businessmen adapt and learn football. Yeah. Fact. Thank you. And that will upset so many football fans, but it's fact. Yeah. Football fans don't understand business because the average football fan is not a businessman. They work for a business. Yeah. Whereas the businessman is not normally a football fan. So he understands business, which is why all football clubs are being run. And I agree, they should be run as a business. You don't want to go bust. Yeah. But at the same time, we as fans should go, oh, actually, well, maybe they did this because of that. And then you can see the accounts. They're transparent. They go online. You see all of the ins and outs. And I think the majority of football fans, they just want the quick, easy, let's just get the richest guy on the planet to come in and buy us. And all of a sudden, abracadabra, boom, there's Messi. To use Edu's quote. But it don't work like that. It don't work like that. Look, if Stan Kroenke decides I'm leaving, he's leaving when he decides, not when we tell him. Yeah, you could have 55,000 people not bother going next season and all have a ticket and wait outside. They are not even bother turning up. That would cause mad damage to that football club. Yeah, but you've still paid, but you have made a stand and said, right, we're not going in. Blackpool did it. Yeah, Blackpool didn't even buy their tickets. They just said, fuck it, no, none of us are paying for a ticket, but we're all going to go to the game and wait outside and protest while the game's on. Yeah, but if you have 55,000 people that are home fans with the then aways, and you've only got the away fans in the ground, imagine that being beamed all over the world, empty stadium. The problem is you can't control 55,000 people. You could do it, Kenny. Anybody else could do it. But then you've now got to try and control another 50-odd thousand people that go, well, why should I stop watching my club? Yeah, I was here before him. Why should I stop going? Yeah, which I get. I've had people in the chat the other day, yesterday, I think it was, say the reason I buy a shirt and I live in America is because it makes me feel closer to the football club. So then when I'm walking into the local pub and I've got my Arsenal top on, yeah, I'm an Arsenal fan. Yeah, so it makes them feel proud to support the club whilst being miles away from the club. So it is very hard to get an owner out, which is why they ain't going unless they want to go. Yeah, or unless you hit them in their pocket. But you can't then control how many people will do that. And there's a massive waiting list of fans at Arsenal. So 50 or 40,000 season ticket holders, I think we've got, all say, bollocks, we ain't going. Yeah, there's 40,000 that are waiting fucking say, yeah, I'll have that. Yeah, I'll have that. Yeah, and it's just rinse and repeat. And if we know this, they know this. Yeah, it's a never-ending cycle. I remember Turkish did an interview and he said it's a roundabout. Yeah, it's a fucking roundabout with the owner as well, because they know they've got us by the bollocks because we're invested emotionally into this football club, which is something they're not. They're invested with money, of course, to buy the club and stuff like that. But we're fucked, man. And I see this summer. And maybe this is a real eye-opener to all these fucking accounts that sit out there chatting absolute bollocks, yeah, giving it 11 out of 10 for January window, yeah, and copy and paste merchants all over Twitter and Insta and Facebook and YouTube. Oh, trust the process, trust the process. The process is run by the fucker you went to protest against yesterday about trust the process, yeah? Do you know what I'm saying? Maybe now this is an eye-opener to all those people that want to go on about trust the process, this and that actually there is no fucking process apart from fleecing you. What do I know? And on that bombshell, I think we should leave it there before I get myself in a bit of trouble. There we go. There's 116,000 people on the waiting list. I'm one of them. I'm right at the top as well. I noticed you laughing, Kenny.
I've got my season ticket. Jez, you know when Jez was talking about all these things, I was going, Jez, please don't call me out, please, mate. don't, Jez. I'll pay you my wages. Not to mention me as one of those season ticket holders.
Oh, that's in fairness, mate. If I lived closer, I pop my hands up here. I'll be totally truthful. I mean, I had a season ticket from '73 when I was a kid. My granddad used to get for me until I moved away. Well, I still had one even when I moved from Highbury. I still used to go every game home and away. But I'll be honest with you, mate. I'll pop my hands up. And I'll be quite honest. If I lived closer, I'd still have a season ticket.
And that's the problem, though, isn't it, Jez? It's like when you've had a ticket for so long, like Kenny has, and like you had, it is very hard. And I spoke to Saeed. He was doing a stream yesterday. He's at the Man United protest today, and I said, "Bruv, stop going." He goes, "Yeah, but I love Man United more than I love the Glazers." He goes, "And I feel like I can make more of a difference being in the ground than not being in the ground." So it's a hard one, isn't it? It's a hard one because you've been invested into that football club for so many years.
And to be fair, the way you presented your case up until now, that is the case. That people can make more of an impact being in the stadium, making noise, booing, holding up signs, and like you say, not buying merch that in the end doesn't mean much to the club anyway. They've already been paid for it.
And let's be real. The only reason Wenger got potted was because there wasn't fans in the ground because they were disgusted with what they were watching. So they said they were booing here and there and you're not fit to wear the shirt at Palace away and all them ones. And then they just voted with their feet for a couple of months or a couple of weeks. It weren't even months. And they said, no, we can't have 10,000 in here against Man City. Yeah, we were there, Kenny. Yeah. 10,000 people, innit? I think there was 20,000 went there. And then I think David Silva scored the second after 20 minutes. 10,000 marched out. There's a guy that stood in front of me, a proper old fucking twat. Used to run his mouth to me all the time. But I see you on that fucking YouTube channel. Proper Wenger in. When David Silva, I think it was, scored, he said, I've had fuck enough of this, and started walking off. I said, not backing your manager, mate. He turned around, he went, oh, piss off. But this is the thing. It even got to him, and he was like so far up Arsene Wenger's backside. It was mad. But that's the thing. I do get it that if you have had a season ticket for so many years, or even 1 year, you might have waited 10 years to get that 1 year. So I get it, but this is what this fucking club has done over the last 30 years. And Sky Sports and the Premier League have created this.
And that's the thing. It's all well and good to tell somebody, well, don't watch it then. Don't watch it then. I would love to not watch Arsenal. I'd love to not give two shits. Oh, it's a Saturday. I couldn't care less if they're playing. Oh, is it a Sunday? I couldn't care less if they're playing. Somehow, my mum managed to do that. She's been so disappointed for so many years that now she knows exactly when they play, but she doesn't. She just chooses not to watch the matches because she gets too emotionally involved. She's got high blood pressure. She says, "Fuck this! I'm not giving up my life for this club." But I can't do it. I can't ignore this club.
Mate, my dad would love to. Home and away, all over the country supporting his club. He didn't support Arsenal. But he went all over the country supporting his club. When Zidane moved from Juve to Real Madrid for 50 million quid, he said, football's finished. 50 million quid for one footballer. Doesn't never watch it again. And to be fair, that was, 20 odd years ago? I think he's probably watched less than 20 games in that time. How can you just switch off from that? From going home and away for your club, to 50 million, the game's finished. That's what he said, the game's finished. He goes, great footballer. Not worth 50 million. 50 million for one player, plus wages. But now game's finished. And he's never he's watched the cup final with me against Hull. And it's funny because my dad looks like Steve Bold, like spitting image of Steve Bold. He's not as tall as him. He's quite short, my dad. It's like 5'8". But Steve Bold's a big fucker. But face identical. You can put them next to each other. You think they're twins. So my daughter, bless her. Right. When Wenger used to be on TV, she'd be like, Granddad's on TV. Granddad's on TV. Steve Bold used to sit next to him, didn't he? I'd be like, yeah. So in that cup final, right, we've gone to my mum and dad's, and she was, I don't even know how old she was. That was 7 years ago. So she was 4, coming up 5. Right, and we're sat there, cup final, come on, we got to win it, end the trophy drought. And she went, I don't know if Arsenal are going to win today, Daddy. My old man goes, yeah, they won. Don't worry about that. Because she went, how comes you're on TV and you're also sat in the living room? And he went, oh, it was recorded yesterday. Arsenal won. So then when we went fucking 2-0 down, I looked at him, I said, you're going to dig a big hole here, mate. Luckily, Aaron fucking Ramsey bailed him out. But fucking hell. I still ain't got the bollocks to tell her it was all a blag. I'll wait till she's a bit older and into an adult years to say it was all bollocks. But man. But listen, Jez, thanks for coming on again, man. Appreciate it.
Pleasure.
Between us all, we've managed to get the stream demonetized. I don't know what that's all about. probably all my swearing, to be honest. It was probably me.
How did that happen?
Mate, do you know what? YouTube's so random. Sometimes it does it, sometimes it don't.
I don't swear. Jess don't swear. Chig didn't swear. Did you swear?
Yeah,
I
I've
don't remember you
sworn quite a
swearing.
bit. Yeah, I have sworn quite a bit.
I did swear once, Kenny. I did.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
I did.
No, do you know what though? Sometimes it's weird how YouTube works. Sometimes in the first couple of minutes you can get away with it. Other times you can't, and it just like I don't know, mate.
There are people that manually watch these things. I told you.
I don't really get it if I'm honest. But listen, all the links for the lads in the no, they're not. I've just checked. Nope, I need to put Jez's Instagram link in there. All the links will be there in the next 5 to 10 minutes. Make sure you've what's your Insta, Jez? Just shout it out. What's your Instagram?
Oh God.
I even know Collins.jez.
That's it. Yeah.
Has it got any numbers after it?
I'm just getting used to it, mate. I'm not really set up right yet. I've got a lot of people following me now. Christ.
There you go. It's Collins. I'll tell you what it is. Collins.jez. There you go. You're on 23. You're on 21 followers. Come on, go and follow Jez's Instagram. Let's get him up to 100. Lovely Jaguar as well. Lovely.
Yeah,
Look at that.
That's my little toy.
Yeah, that's lovely, mate. Proper nice.
Only comes out in the summer.
Yep. There you go. Kenny, your link is already in the description, but I'll put Jez's in there in a second. Any final thoughts, Kenny?
Final thoughts are all eyes are on at the Emirates on Thursday. It's critical, and it's basically the be all and end all everything. Simple, be all and end everything, because at the end of the day, you can't continue a process without something to work on. So, if we're in a situation where we're not in a tie by the second leg, he has to resign.
Mate, Unai Emery must be licking his chops, mate. They got Barcelona tomorrow, though, I think.
No, they're going to try against Barcelona, aren't they?
Yeah, that'd probably be a pumping. But can you imagine, very quickly, can you imagine Unai Emery gets this manager sacked after he got sacked for this manager?
I think let's be real. I think that what will happen is that the fact we're playing them Villarreal will probably put some hairs on the chest and put some, it's like putting the brownies in the oven. I think we'll be up for it, but whether we're good enough to beat them, we just have to wait and see.
That's the problem, isn't it? Chig, your link for your channel. Oh, sorry, Kenny, your Insta's in the chat anyway, in the description. Kenny Ken 1972 on Twitter and Insta. I've only got your Insta link in there, not your Twitter link. So yeah, go and check that out. Jez, your link is now in there as well. That is now being put in there. But Chig, your YouTube channel is in there as well. Any final thoughts, Chig?
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. I mean, just to kind of reiterate what the boys have said earlier, I think, it just shows you, because I know you were very skeptical about protests and whether or not we could organise a proper one. And, by hook or by crook, we actually came together for 2 seconds to stop arguing with each other and actually work together to even if temporarily, to drive evil out. And there's something poetic about that. It's weird. Like, I should be more disappointed by the fact that we lost the game. We played so poorly. But that's why, I guess, for me, I'm kind of at the point now of Arsenal and losing games. Like, I'm a bit numb to it now. Like, I don't get upset by losing games anymore. It's kind of like, Arsenal lost to them. Yeah, figures. It's more about for me how we recover from that and how we move on, and hopefully, you never know. Maybe it's going to take something like this for Josh and Stan to say, "All right, enough's enough. You want success? We're going to give it to you. This is how we're going to do it." That latter part is the one thing I'm clinging on to. And they might just decide to pull the trigger on Arteta, maybe.
That's listen, he'll probably fucking fluke the Europa League and be here next season, and we'll do this all over again next season. But listen, it's been good, man. Really enjoyed the show. Big up to everybody in the chat as well. Peaked at nearly 1,000 people as well, which, considering there is football kicking off in 2 minutes, and people would have been watching the build-up for Chelsea West Ham, which Reminds me, I will be back doing a live video call-in show straight after that game. So make sure you come and jump on. It's not going to be a long-winded one. Literally, I don't know, maybe 45 minutes. Ain't going to be a 2-hour one. I know I said the other day, no 2-hour one. It was 2 hours. Yeah, that was a one-off. But listen, make sure you follow all the lads. Their links are in the description. And we're out.